Every year, gun makers, wholesalers, and dealers gather in the Nevada desert to hawk their latest wares. For 1 week, tens of thousands of people from the firearms industry admire, inspect, and even shoot each other's products. And it all happens in a little town called Las Vegas. That's right, it's SHOT Show season, my friends. And this year, the Washington Free Beacon sent me and video producer Zach Hanover to the center of it all in Sin City to cover it all. Let's start with the best part first, Range Day. A short drive outside of Las Vegas, and before you hit the Hoover Dam, lies the Boulder Pistol and Rifle Club, a massive outdoor range with dozens and dozens of shooting lanes populated by the newest and most interesting firearms from all the world's biggest gun companies, and even some of the small ones too. I'm very tired already. It's a lot of walking, a lot of shooting. We got, I don't know, 5 hours more to go. So. If you ever plan on going, make sure you bring some durable and comfortable shoes. Time to setting up these boots. We got some more walking and shooting to do. Because it's 8 hours straight of shooting, and you're going to be doing a whole heck of a lot of walking. It's a business event where sellers let buyers try out the goods. But honestly, it just feels like pure, unadulterated fun. There were a lot of interesting new guns like the Mossberg MC1. 9mm, right?
9mm.
That grip angle is a 1911.
Correct, 16-degree grip angle. We've designed this to have all the most sought-after features at a modest price point.
I thought it was a great little gun, shot really well. We did have a slight issue with failure to go back into battery. Could just be a cleaning issue, but interesting new gun. The FK Bruno, a super customized $8,000 pistol.
This is one solid piece of metal that they go through. And I mean, the factory is not putting out mass firearms. They're building each one. They're masterpieces.
Now we just shot this thing. It's incredible. It really is. Plus the new Glock 43X and 48.
Both of them hold 10 rounds. So
10 rounds.
One in the chamber, you get 11.
That's a big deal for concealed carry.
Great for concealed carry. Good for self-defense, stuff like that. Glock's marksman barrels in it. Both of them have the front slide serrations, which I'm a personal fan of because I like to rack from the front. Personally, my true love will always be the full autos, especially the SBRs.
So happy together. I can't see me loving nobody but you for all my life.
And after Range Day ends, the exhibit floor opens. Or really, I should say exhibit floors, because there's like 5 of them and they're all massive. It feels like every gun company in the world from tiny to mammoth sets up a display. Some are a one-person booth and some are 2-story log cabins. Some have candy store displays, some have live paintings. Something you're gonna want to see is this free tattoo. Pretty cool. It's crazy there, but it's not as crazy as the nightlife. Supposedly, we are going to watch a UFC fighter fight a Spec Ops guy in a simunition gun battle, and there's going to be a big party to go along with it. So that's the kind of thing you run into in SHOT Show.
I'm Jay with
All right, so we made it inside. I have no idea what's around this corner, but I'm very intrigued, so let's find out. This is insane. This place is nuts. It's literally like UFC fighting with guns thrown in. It's incredible. They were shooting at each other, then they tackled each other, and they were grappling, and then that guy choked out that guy. It's nuts. And in case you didn't know, the food in Vegas is pretty good too. Unlike my lunch here back at home. This place is freaking legit. And this meat. I'm gonna eat this cotton candy foie gras in one bite, they said. So I've never had foie gras, and this should be interesting. And anywhere 60,000 gun owners are, you can be sure that gun rights activists aren't too far behind. I was able to track down a number of them. While issues like the gun control proposals pushed by the new Democratic House of Representatives.
We're going to see a lot of gun control legislation coming out of the House. We're already starting to see it. Now that the Democrats have taken control. It's not that all Democrats are anti-gun, but the leadership of the Democratic Party at the national level clearly is, and we just have to look at the bills they're introducing and how they ran on gun control.
The threat of big banks instituting their own forms of gun control. And we're talking a little bit about a new cryptocurrency that BitRail has developed, which GunBroker will accept for gun purchases in the future. That's correct?
That's correct. We do all of the things that are required by a regulated environment, but we do it in a manner that allows this community to ensure that they've got a purchase or a payment option, even if those credit cards turn off.
Okay, so Visa, PayPal,
not
whoever,
dependent on them, not at all.
They can't stop you guys.
Those folks can't stop us from doing this.
And the impact of social media censorship on those who make gun content for a living were a continued focus. You're somebody who's out there making a living doing gun content on social media. So what is it you're seeing?
I would actually say that YouTube's actually doing a better job than Facebook. Facebook, who owns Instagram as well, they have taken a pretty hard line that, for instance, as a firearms trainer, I can't take out advertisements for classes in areas where there is, anything firearms related in it. That to me is a detriment to real cultural dialogue.
As somebody who makes a living off of gun content on social media, things aren't where you'd want them to be, but they're not necessarily as bad as maybe some people fear it to be.
Yeah, I don't think the sky is falling.
There were quite a few new developments coming into SHOT Show 2019 that many people were talking about. In fact, in the middle of the show, the Supreme Court decided to take a new gun case for the first time in nearly a decade.
Means that the Supreme Court is back in business of hearing gun cases.
The court's decision to take the case is widely credited to President Trump's appointment of Justices Kavanaugh and Gorsuch.
It's a really big deal, and it shows why Donald Trump's election was very important for gun rights, because now we have a court that's tipping more in the favor of looking at gun rights, making sure our Second Amendment rights are protected.
Trump remained popular enough with showgoers and exhibitors alike that I even saw his face carved into one gun stock. Still, Trump's decision in December to unilaterally ban bump stocks by rewriting federal law is currently facing multiple lawsuits from several gun rights organizations.
Our biggest thing with it was the executive overreach. This wasn't done through Congress. If you look at the plain statutory language of what a machine gun is, by our interpretation of it, bump stocks clearly fall outside of that. There's a lot of logical disconnects in the reasoning of how they got from A to B, and it really seems that it was almost as if this is the result you need to get to, figure out how to kind of get there.
The other cases are really focused a little more on just simply pure legal analysis, whereas the perspective we're trying to take is let's break this down into the technical aspects of how this simply isn't a machine gun. A bump stock is not a machine gun. Right. How can you possibly say that a piece of plastic is a machine gun?
Politics aside, expanding the shooting sports is a top priority for many. The National Shooting Sports Foundation, which puts on SHOT Show every year, is hoping to take this massive show and make it even bigger in the future.
We actually anticipate growing and expanding the show in the next 2 years.
Wow.
Yes, we will continue to see growth. We see more and more women purchasing firearms for self-protection, target shooting, and hunting. We see more minorities. I mean, the face of the customer is changing.
And several of the activists I spoke with are focused on reaching beyond the usual gun-owning demographics.
We need to be much less sort of externally focused on this concept of they and more fear-mongering. We really need to be a lot more engaging with they, and because the they is how we continue to win back our rights across the country. The they, the middle ground, especially in America, changing the cultural sort of stigma and perception of gun ownership and gun responsibility by gun owners is really how we're going to stem that flow that we're seeing right now of aggressive, infringement, aggressive restriction.
In our industry realizes that our messaging is falling behind and that we need to win the hearts and minds of the middle, and we're losing that battle. So I figure the more people we have that are better articulate about those subjects and feel more comfortable in front of a camera, the better off we are.
But our job is to go in and talk about what laws don't work, where can we find some common ground, what do people agree on, what do people not agree on, but why don't we agree with you?
And why shouldn't they reach out? As big as SHOT Show is, there's probably a lot more people out there who'd be interested in getting involved in the shooting sports. Anyway, that's a wrap on SHOT Show 2019. I'm Stephen Gutowska of the Washington Free Beacon, and I'll see you next year at SHOT Show 2020.
happy together. If I should call you up, invest a dime, and you say you belong to me, lose my mind. Imagine how the world could be so very fine, so happy together.